Hello there, welcome to the channel. Hopefully, perhaps welcome back if you've seen stuff that we've been doing before. Now, we are once again with the Jackson Audio Modular Fuzz and our contrabass clarinet samples. We have previously done a series called Bringing It All Together, or something to that effect. And what we're going to do now is maybe, perhaps along the lines of polishing things off. Perhaps in the way that one polishes a diamond. So, basically, we have designed some settings. We have 4 different modules for the Jackson Audio Modular Fuzz, and for the 4 of them, 2 of them, our favorites, we've designed quite detailed settings that we like as kind of like an ideal sound, or close to it. And we've got those noted down. For the other 2, one of them we have a rough idea that we want to refine, and one of them we don't really have any ideas for. It was one of the ones that came installed. So as a quick rundown, Fuzz Classic Vintage is kind of like the basic module that comes installed. That's the one that we haven't really done any work on in quite a while, because even though it's got a reasonable sound and it does what we like, in other words, it fuzzes things up quite hard, we also found that the second one that we got, the Modern Fuzz, did a better job. The Modern Fuzz is the one where we've got some basic settings on the go, but we need to fine-tune them. And then there's the Fuzz Page Mark II, which is perhaps our favourite. It really messes things up big time in the most delicious possible way. And then we've got the Goat Head, which is quite a unique sound. I guess... let's see, maybe, I can never remember. I think Goat's Head is the one that's associated with Pink Floyd. But anyway, it's obviously the Goat's Head fuzz. What's that called? Is that right? The Goat's Head? Ram's Head, maybe? Anyway, those are not on the tip of my tongue at the moment. So we've got the Goat Head installed right now, and we're going to look at the Goat Head and the Fuzz Page. So basically we're starting off with with the simplest tasks. The ones where we've already got pretty much the setting exactly that we want, and we just want to confirm that we're happy with it, play around with it a little bit more, see what other little additions we can give, and we're also going to bring in some of the work that we did with the Octave circuit and make sure that we have a satisfactory octave sound that we can also bring in. The other thing that we want to be working with is, so we have like the ideal EQ settings, by the way. You'll have to excuse the somewhat rough nail polish. We've been having some fun with getting some nice system colors going on our fingers. And yeah, it's chipping off a little bit, but I think we can deal with that, can't we? Yes, we can. So moving forwards, we want to be able to have the ideal setting, and then be able to like fiddle around with sounds, like for example in the recording studio on a gig, to get a little bit refinement in different situations. So let's dive in with this slightly easier task with these first 2 modules. Now, this is set up already. Let me just double check on that. Yep, 4 o'clock for the volume, 5 o'clock for the mid-frequencies. Now, this is kind of fussy But we've gotten pretty familiar with the Jackson Audio modular fuzz, and one of the things that we are finding can be a little bit of a pain in terms of like memorizing settings is that there are 7 plastic blobs around the edge of the knobs, and unfortunately, there being 7, it makes it quite difficult to see exactly where, whether it's like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, you know, like an eighth of the way through. So that is a very fussy criticism of the Jackson Audio modular fuzz. But we've got this set up how we like it. You will notice that the treble doesn't have any boost or cut on it there. We just love the fact that there's that little bit of haptics there in the 12 o'clock position there. Anyway, that's something that we may try and fix. In other words, make it something where when we boost it and cut it, we're actually getting an effect that we like. Now, for those that have not seen any of the previous videos, as well as all of these beautiful knobs on the front, there's also a considerable amount of stuff on the back as well. There are these things on the module itself, trimmers on the module itself, and 5 trimmers here. So this is a pretty detailed piece of equipment and a pretty detailed piece of work that we've done with it. So just to give a very quick overview, these 3 are exactly what they say they are. They are the cut and the boost. So obviously at noon is no cut or boost, and then cut or boost either way there. There's this mid frequency which chooses the range that's cut or boosted. There is an equivalent to this on the back for both the bass and the treble, and we have to watch out because when we turn it over, we have made the mistake before of tuning the treble when we think we're tuning the bass, and vice versa. So, also on the back, there is a trimmer for all 3, which is the Q, which is the size of the area, the size of the frequency that's being cut or boosted. So, what we're going to do is hopefully figure out a little setting for the treble here where we can cut and boost it, and that might involve changing the Q. Our approach so far has been to have the Q just turned up all the way. That has served us very well, but we're thinking that with the goat's head it might be useful to bring that Q down a little bit so that we have got a frequency that's usable in a more improvisatory way. So we will see. What we'll do first though, and let me just acknowledge the amount of work that we have put in here in reviewing for this little bit of polishing that we're in the middle of. I've looked through a fair few of my videos on like the Octave circuit, and of course the different settings that we've used, but also the approach that we've taken to designing these sounds has had a very interesting process, where we started with a top-down approach, in other words, tuning higher notes of the clarinet and then gradually going down. Then we switched to a bottom-up approach. In fact, that's the reason that our settings for the modern fuzz are not quite as detailed as we'd like. We were using the top-down approach. So that is our approach that we have worked with, and also we developed 3 different ranges on the clarinet that corresponds to sub-bass and bass, and then low mids. So, pat ourselves on the back and move on. Now, let's have a think. What we're going to do, we're going to start with the sub bass. So we are going to continue with our bottom up approach, and we're going to have a little bit of a play with the bass and the mids, and see how they feel when we play around with them. But then we'll go on to the treble and do a little bit of tuning there. Then maybe we'll look at the other clarinet samples. So 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock for these guys. There we go. Let's dive in. Love it. So it's the mids that give a lot of the sound its quality. So let's play one with those. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's really nice. I mean, boosted. Oof. I mean, all the way up. Definitely too much, but that's quite nice. Very boomy. I agree with our setting there that it's nice and subtle at just above 1 there. But we can push it as well, and it sounds good. Up to a point. I mean, maybe that would work with treble cut, maybe. Yeah, kind of interesting. But I do like that general vibe there. Now cutting it, yeah, also good. I do feel though that we've got it in a good place there. Okay, let's toy a little bit with the bass. And if we want things really weedy and fuzzy, we can do a lot of cutting with the bass. But I like that where it's just pushed a little bit, but not too much. Yeah, I don't want it too much extra push. Yeah, it sounds a little bit artificially added there. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, the bass to me, I'm really quite happy with where it's at. Where it's adding a little bit of atmosphere, but it's not intruding. Like, that's a bit too intrusive, I think. I mean, it's a useful effect, put it like that. But where it's at, just above 1 o'clock. Good. And then if we want to make things really It's all about having a bit of fun here, right? Yeah, a very like flat sound, which I quite like. But that little bit of push is lovely. I think it brings out the more like, I'm not going to say woody tones, but like the heavier tones of the contrabass, which is lovely. I mean, the fact that we've also got some dry signal in there as well. Yeah, at this level doesn't... Yeah. I think because we've got the dry signal in there as well, that bass boost is not as necessary. Anyway. Yeah, I think that at 1, just a little bit of boost is awesome. Just a bit more presence. Okay. So, we're happy with the mids. Let's play with the treble. Ooh, bringing that back down makes a big difference. Oh, yeah. I really like that. And the flexibility we get with the mids is great. I mean, even just that's just great. Oh, this is just lovely. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm going to stop accusing quite so much, and I'm going to do a bit of work on the treble. So. I think I remember the trouble being with the treble. The trouble with trebles. I think I remember the trouble with treble being that it's not subtle enough. It's like one of the things that we've kind of said for ourselves is that it's like makeup. Our ideal and a general ideal that many people have for makeup is that you want it to look like you're not wearing any. In other words, it's like an enhancement, but it's an invisible enhancement. It's not an obvious enhancement. And the treble was feeling too obvious. So, let's dive in and see how we feel about that. See what we can do with it. It's actually quite nice using it as a cut. Okay. What we're going to do, we're going to boost it a bit, and we're going to play with the frequency that's being boosted. Hopefully you can see. And make sure we're doing the right one. I mean, so we do have it on the in our little notes. We've got it second X from the bottom. Is that right? No, first X from the bottom. Okay. So there. Another little thing that we've developed, this way of describing the position of these things for ourselves. I mean, not that it's genius level or anything, but it's these little tools that make things useful. So, this is first X from the bottom, where our settings tell us it should be, and it's a full Q range. So we're just going to play with that range and see. Let's boost it a little bit more so that it's easier to tell where it's at. See, that's too buzzy. I mean, that's quite nice all the way up. Or not. But it's not subtle. That's quite nice. A little bit too buzzy. Okay, we'll start from the top. Too much. Interesting, but that adds something, but it's still quite intense. Ooh, that's an interesting little area. Okay, we seem to be having a little bit of a hard time finding what we want. That's where we had it before. That's where it's meant to be at, according to the settings. It would be nice to push it to here, but it's a little broad, so we're going to see if bringing down the Q helps. The first X from the top. First T from the top, I should say. See if that makes any difference. Okay, how about... Okay, how about a little experiment? What we're going to do, we're going to turn it all the way up on the frequency, and we're going to play with the Q a little bit. And then we're going to bring the frequency down once we found a Q that seems to be a little bit more adaptive. Okay. Yeah, not feasible. that's first X from the top. That seems to be a bit more adaptive, yeah. Yeah, first X from the top. Okay, that's first X from the bottom. Still a little too much. Okay, let's bring this down to the second T, sorry. Let's see how that goes. I like how that's sitting. Something for sure. It's subtle, but it's there. And what about the cut? Let's see the cut. Yeah. It's quite subtle, but I like it, especially cut like that. That adds a certain aggressiveness there. Ooh, that is aggressive. I like that word. Now, let's see what happens when we bring the Q back up. Just out of curiosity. So second T from the top. See there, it's like a constant hum. Okay. Play with the frequency just a little. Yeah, I think we found something really nice there. Okay. One more little look at the cue. See if pushing it a little helps. It's quite nice too. Okay, so we've got a choice here between having something that's a bit more subtle I mean, yeah, it's a difficult choice. I think I'm gonna go for the bigger range. So the top is kind of an X, so it's like first X from the top. Ooh, yeah, that treble and mid cut. Or the treble boosted in. I wonder if that's not too subtle though. Okay, I'm happy with that Q position. Yeah, it's a subtle thing, but I can't remember if we had it at the first X or the second X from the top. I should say T, not X. bring that to second. Oh yeah, okay. Ooh, noisy. Nice. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so as something that we intend to have in or at noon all the time and to play around with, then excuse me, then I'm happy with that. Let's just check that position. So the Q, we've got first X down from the top, and the frequency, we've got second T down from the top. Okay, we're going to dive in and do one more little check of that, and then we'll move on to the octaves. Okay. It's not boosted. Okay. Second T is too much. It's just too much, yeah. Sorry, first T from the top is too much. Yeah, also the same for first X from the top, so... Yeah, I hear why we like that. We want it even a little lower. I mean, I hear it in there, but nah, it's not enough of an effect. Okay, second T from the top. Yeah, I like what that's doing. And then the Q. First X from the top, but we're softening it. That's all the way up, I think. That's first T from the top. first X from the top. Second T from the top. And then for cutting purposes, what about in between? First X, second X, first T, second. Okay, let's try first T, second T, in between first X and T. Ooh, that's nice. Kind of subtle. Ooh, almost like a woody tone. Ooh. Okay. Yes, okay. Let's take it back and make a comparison with first X from the top. It's a bit much. That's kind of evil. Okay, let's do a quick comparison with that. And second T from the top. Is that right? Yes. 1, 2, second T from the top. Yeah. Okay, I think that I've spent enough time on that, and I like it in between. So it's in between the first T and the first X. And then let's make a quick note of that. There we go. So now we're going to work with the octave a little bit. I like the fact that we've got that treble as a useful tool, even though we're not necessarily going to use it much. I don't feel the need to take that through the other samples that we've got. Maybe, let's just see how it sounds with the treble. Yeah, it's definitely a tool. We need to cut through, maybe. Yeah, you can hear it in there. Softens it a little bit there. Yeah, okay, great. So, maybe what we'll do for the octave effect is we'll focus on the, hell, why not do the whole range of the clarinet and see how that sounds? Because that's going to be too much. Let's do the bass sample, because that's kind of like, I guess, the central range of the instrument. And let's see how. So the biggest thing that we're concerned with is how the octave sounds with the fuzz after it. We can see how the fuzz sounds on its. How the octave sounds without the fuzz. But we noticed that that's a slightly different, that requires a slightly different setting. So like, when there's not the fuzz, octave is good all the way up, and blend is like that kind of range, like 11 till 1, but like that kind of thing. But with the fuzz, we were thinking that something with, like, bringing the fuzz back and also using more of the blend is the way to go. That's what we got from our video. So, let's see how that sounds. Okay, that's the sub-bass sample. Not the bass sample, but we're going to roll with it and see how it goes. Ooh, hear that distortion. It doesn't like that. That's very interesting. Glad that we played with this sub-bass one first. Okay, let's try the octave on Okay, so let's switch it to the bass sample and see how it responds in that situation. great. It just adds a roughness. It's really lovely. However, didn't get on with those low notes, did it? There you hear it's more like a tonal difference. A tonal difference rather than a volume difference. So I think having the volume down is helpful. Still a bit of a volume difference, but let's see. So basically it fattens it up, which is lovely. Now the concern is in that low register. So what we're going to do is, before we tackle the low register, we're going to have a quick listen to the low mids sample from the contrabass and see how that sounds, just for fun. Then we're going to go back down to the octave, back down to the sub bass sample and see how that sounds. So this is the low mids sample. Yeah. That's nice. Where it's a bit more subtle. Yeah, I'm into that. I think we're figuring out how to make it a textural difference rather than a volume difference, because with the volume down lower, yeah, that we are getting more of that textural change. You know, like when it's adding another note an octave above, obviously it's going to be louder. So let's go back to that sub bass thing, and basically we want to find a setting where it doesn't fuck up those low notes. So that's our That's our standard. It doesn't fuck it up. Here we go. Yeah, it's distorting it, so okay. The blend knob, maybe. Put the octave all the way up and see how it sounds. It's distorting it too much. Okay, now we're getting somewhere for sure. As opposed to when it's like this. Yeah. Okay. Okay, bring the blend down. Okay, forget volume for now. Okay, it seems to be around there we start getting some. So with blend there, we don't seem to be getting too much distortion. Like pitch distortion. Or maybe we do. Okay, there. Let's see how that works. Yeah, I can't say I blame this circuit for distorting on that low C. Let's give it a try and see. Yeah, I wonder if it's going to be possible to eliminate that distortion. Yeah, it's a pitch distortion. And it's just for that low C. That's a tricky one. There we go. Oh wait, no, that was the top note. That's not too bad. Wish we had a sample of just that low C, but still. Okay, it definitely seems to be a blend thing. Let's see what happens. That's better. Ooh. Okay, let's see how this goes. That's a minimal change. Yeah, that's... Okay, I mean, this is like with the octave turned down, it's way more tolerable. Okay. Now, before it seemed to be raising the pitch, now it seems to be lowering the pitch. Is that my imagination? Yes. I mean, no, it's not my imagination, but yes, it's possible to find something. Okay, so we should be able to find somewhere where it doesn't affect the pitch too much. Let's try. Okay, that's still raising it. Okay, we're going to keep blend at noon. It's raising it still. Raising it still. Okay, I think what we may have to do is not use the the octave with this particular fuzz. Now, that's a little bit of a shame, so I'm going to see if I can do something. One thing that I remember is that if the blend is all the way there, you still get a little bit of the dry signal. It's not just the octave. So let's see how that responds without any octave in there. Okay, that's definitely taking it down. It's up there. No, that's taking it up. It's so difficult to hear. Okay. Just to see. Okay. There we go. This is somewhat better, I think. Yeah, we're just going to get the distortion, I think. I mean, it's a lovely effect, but let's see what we can do. I mean, even with that like that, it's a difference. Well, let's see what happens if we... Interesting. Okay, so it's more like a boost. It's a slight distortion of the pitch, but... Okay, so basically we're not using the octave circuit, we're using it more like a boost. Okay. That's interesting. Let's put it as low as we go. So we're not getting any background hiss. We start getting it from noon. Compare it with something like this. Yeah. So I think we might be better off using the fuzz circuit and the octave circuit separate from each other, so that we've got one sound for the fuzz thing and one sound for the octave thing, and that they don't really mix. It's not a bad thing. Let's do that now, though. So we're going to use the octave thing separate from the. See what that sounds like. That's the trouble with these low notes. Okay. So the trouble is that adding in the octave distorts the pitch, and that's understandable because the pitch of those low notes is all over the place. It could be that it's the circuit's fault, it could be that it's the clarinet player's fault, whoever she is, and I think that that's just something that we're going to have to deal with the circuit. Now, let's see what happens if we turn the octave all the way down and just use the blend. See what happens there. There we go. It needs the boost of there. Yeah. Okay, this is something of a problem that we've run into with the octave circuit here. It's not the end of the world by any stretch of the imagination, but it does seem that we're not gonna get an octave sound in there without some distortion in the low end. So I'm going to put the blend entirely wet. No, entirely dry. I'm going to put the volume down all the way, and we're going to see how that sounds. Yeah, this is a conundrum. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take it to the lower mids sample, and we're going to see if it's the same problem, which I don't think it is. Yeah, okay, and now the bass range sample. Okay, we are getting it there as well. Okay, so fuzz circuit, octave circuit is going to be a difficulty. Well, it's worth knowing. So what we're going to do is just like, maybe for now, set the octave circuit up so that it's like a similar volume without the fuzz to the fuzz. Does that make sense? So it's a similar octave to the fuzz, but without any of the octave in it. So basically, like, we can use the dry signal. Let's see how that sounds. Because without it, it's just not any volume at all, really. Okay, that's a sensible way to use it. So it's more like just a boost. Let's apply that to the sub bass sample. See with the octave in there, you can hear how that gets distorted. Yeah, that's a good example. Not so much distortion there, but yeah, I think that's okay there. Okay, we're going to call it a day there. That was meant to be the easiest of the modules to work on because we already had things planned, but I do think we did a good job with the treble there, and what we've got now is a nice bit of flexibility there if we feel like it. We know that the mids can be used for some really nice textural differences, and as well as the fuzz, we've also got a boost for the normal clarinet sound. So not ideal, but I suspect that's a problem we're going to have with all octave fuzzes. Yeah, and I mean, it's like those low notes feature in a lot of our compositions, so we don't want that distortion in there. That's a very interesting lesson. Okay, we ended up spending a lot more time on that than we expected, but that's a really important lesson. Octave fuzz is not our friend because of those low notes. I mean, it would be cool for a lead. You know, like if we'd already set down a bass line, we could use it for the higher notes, but on those low notes it distorts. So, okay. Well, we're either going to take a break and come back, or we're going to call it a day, but either way, thank you very, very much for joining us. I hope this was as interesting for you as it was for me. Must admit, that took considerably more time than expected, but I'd like to think that it's worthwhile. And touch wood, the fuzz page Mark II will be a little simpler. So, you never know. But, thank you for sticking around, and be well.